Good evening, everyone, my audience, and those at home watching through Facebook or YouTube. Welcome to the Young Author Club, our book sharing by young authors. Yeah? Well, we have 5 talented young authors who are with me today to share their books and to share their inspirations behind their stories. But before we start the sharing, let's have a look at this video.
Tell my own story, write my own tale. It's okay if at first I fail.
I started off with the Young Author Scheme because I love writing. A HOD from a school asked me, why don't you coach my kids to write a book? And as usual, I jumped in. We have gone on to mentor, to build young authors from 2003 to 2021, probably close to about 9,000 young authors in all.
After making it into the semi-finals for the Hippo 2020 and English competition, I was recommended this young authors workshop, and my parents had encouraged me to do so to give myself more exposure.
I happen to be a bit of a bookworm, so I think they enrolled me in this scheme as they know of my love for books, and they wanted me to have a feel of how publishing goes behind the scenes.
So my parents encouraged me to enroll to enhance my writing skills and gain bigger opportunities with the stories I create.
My form teacher actually nominated me when I was in primary 4. She nominated me and some of my other classmates to join this young author scheme.
The Young Readers Digest was given to us in school, and then at the very back of it, the creative writing workshops where they advertised, oh, you could write your own book. And I was like, I'd never have the motivation to do any of this myself, so I just did it.
This year, it's a 2-day workshop, about 4 hours each time, and the participants basically get mentored into what is a story, and at the end of it they will write about a 1,000-word story. The top 3 will be mentored by me, a 30-minute mentoring session individually with me to develop their story to be entered into the Asian Young Author Award. We also offer mentoring sessions to those that write pretty well, and they can also enter for the Asia Young Author Award.
My writing skills and experiences were still very raw, but then at that time I was also starting to build my passion for writing a bit. In my free time I was think of some story plots, or I'll just write down some story ideas I have. It taught me how to effectively convey my message better and how to design the storybook more effectively.
We weren't limited to what we were limited to at school. For example, we had to follow a set of pictures, a title, and we had to write according to that.
They give you a box and they put you inside and they say, please write in this box. Creative writing is completely different. This is the box you had before. Now imagine the box doesn't exist and you write however much you want about whatever you want.
I always had an interest in writing, but I had no clear direction and I didn't know where to start. But the Young Author Scheme taught me how to write a good story, and it gave me the chance to publish my own book.
When you tell people that, or you tell your friends, hey, I wrote a book, the first thing they're going to ask is, could you let me have a read? It becomes a way of sharing something that you have written with the people around you, and so generally it's been positive. Back then it was a big deal and it was pretty great.
So my book is called Bathtub Mermaid, and it's about a teenage boy who is one day swallowed whole by a bathtub and finds himself underwater. My little sister quite enjoyed it.
It made me feel as though I'm in a bathtub swimming in gel. So when I read it, I even feel short of breath. So that for me is the best scene in the book.
It's called Wolf Trials.
The epilogue, where it was remarkably written in a sense that I thought the ending should be that way, but there's a twist to the ending.
Ophir, child of Lavan. Ophir is a child who dreams to become a brave warrior like Set the Glorious to escape poverty.
Don't push yourself to get rich to become the best. To me, this code, it's not only for the book, but it applies to us.
Gabby's Wish, and it's about a piece of chewing gum who is rather small, but she has a big heart, and her only wish is to help people.
It's called Artificial Fire. You know how you can get like the actual like physical copies of your book? When it came out, my mom was like, I want to buy like 50, and then like she started distributing them to her friends and like, look at what my daughter did.
I was mainly inspired by how many children that were like 11 years old to 18, where people had such creative ideas and they could all sudden converse through the sessions that we had together.
I enjoyed bonding with the other participants who were sitting around me. We like to read each other's stories and give each other's ideas.
Exercising your imagination, we kind of received a lot of encouragement to think about what we'd like to write about.
It also helped me to hone my writing skills and my command of the English language, which has greatly helped me up until today.
It made me write better in my English essays for exams or even worksheets. And it also helped my history because it involved a lot of writing at the time.
It has also opened my mind to learn so much more about the world around us.
By pure chance, I saw that Miss Catherine had joined Telegram immediately because, you know, the nature of Miss Catherine is that she's like, hi, I'm working on this, want to help out? And then like, yeah, I ended up resuming contact with her.
I don't remember interacting much with Miss Khoo back then, but I remember feeling very grateful to her for starting this program, which gave us all the opportunity to publish our own book.
Catherine, if you know her personally or whether you know her professionally, she's a very creative lady and she has a very interesting zest for life. She's always on the go, always looking for new ideas to do things in a different way, exploring new opportunities, trying out new partnerships and collaborations.
Eileen was my very first editor and she brought a little bit of fun, you know, and also a lot of like the child in her and the young authors, and she communicates very well with the young authors.
As a writer myself, I find it very empowering to work with Catherine because she manages on a very creative standpoint when she does manage the team. She gives us a lot of wiggle room to explore our strengths.
Work environment to be very easygoing yet efficient. And I think that is something that professionally I want to be as well, both as a person as well as an editor, is to become a very accommodating person like Catherine.
Gwen is actually, if I'm not wrong, a final year lit student in NTU. She brings her own perspective and she's in her 20s, so I do feel that she relates pretty well with the young authors, same generation. In fact, some of the times when she does interviews and they talk about some actors, you know, I'm like, okay, so who is that? Different generation, but yeah, I'm glad for all my editors.
I was very fortunate to have a computer in my house very early in life. I'd actually started my first blog when I was 11. She was a huge part of my writing journey those few years.
I think that was when I realized what Catherine has always been fighting for, that kids can write. The kids have tons of ideas and kids can create content for other kids.
I had Carlo, who's right now back in the Philippines. He was an amazing editor. He was, I think, a communications person, did radio, fantastic voice, but he worked a lot on the magazines as well. The editors that I have actually worked so well with the kids, you know, they learn from the kids, and with that, I think it became very much a team effort.
The Young Author Scheme seems to present something different. I mean, it's not just a writing workshop. It takes you behind the scenes of how books are published. So it brings you from actually writing a story to the finished product.
I was hoping that he would be able to develop more interest in writing after attending the YAS workshop.
Children who are interested in story writing, give them attention and moral support. Like, for example, joining workshop or joining this. So we have to encourage our children on all the things that we know our kids is capable with.
The Young Author Scheme started in 2003 and we have gone on to the Malaysia Young Author Award, the Philippines Young Author Award, and this year, India Young Author Awards. I hope to bring the Young Author Award to China, to also Indonesia.
Because I was part of the alumni, I got the chance to to judge 2019 to 2020's Young Author Awards?
First of all, there was a lot of scripts to read through. I was quite amazed at their talent actually.
There was such a wide range of genres of stories, and each story had a different message, different moral, and a different way that touched people's hearts.
It was through Zoom. I got to see some of the participants' faces, and I was actually quite taken aback because I didn't expect such young people to have such mature sense of language and vocabulary.
One of the special things about Young Author Scheme is that it cherishes your content, and that's not something that you can get very much elsewhere when you publish anything, be it on the internet or through any other platform.
I have the Catherine Khoo Writing Foundation, which hopes to give a voice to the marginalized, especially children, to tell their stories. In the Philippines, we went to help a school in Cavite, and I hope actually for them to be trained to write. One of them hopefully can come into the Young Author Award, or a few of them. I'm looking for publisher partners or education partners, because the Young Author Award grooms the child, gives the child perspectives that, in real life they cannot become or something, or they long for. So writing is another way into your own world, because writing is something that we share, and in sharing we learn so much about ourselves.
Having your content valued unconditionally is very hard to find. It's very special, and that's what allows you to grow. When you yourself and people around you value your content, that gives you the space, the safe space to create and grow.
Explore my own creations, expand my imagination with UEC, unique like me.
So this is, some things about the young author journey. And you don't have to wait very long, because we have 5 very talented young authors. They have been published in the Young Author Club, and they're joining me today to share about their stories, the reason why they write, and to read an excerpt of their story. More important is for you, viewer at home, they're going to ask a question, and via Facebook, I guess, you can answer that. And we have 5 books to be given away, 1 from each young author. Right? And so without further ado, let me ask my very first young author, Si Tian Tian, to come up on stage. Tian Tian. Welcome, Tian Tian.
Okay, hi.
Hi. Yes, okay. So this is Tian Tian's book. It's called Primrose, Luthia, and Me. Yes, and before I start, Tian Tian actually won this year's Best Illustration. Okay, and it's a very lovely illustration. So Tian Tian, tell me what your story is about.
My story is about one human and 2 cats. The human is Lucia. The cats are Primrose and Ginger. And they are living happily together in a mansion, but one night a tragedy happens.
Wow.
And the 3 main characters go homeless. And this is the story about their life.
Right. And so when they went homeless, what happened? What did they do?
They found a little alley to live in, and they tried to find out who made them homeless.
Yes, okay, great. So for more, please read Tian Tian's story. Now, Tian Tian, right, would you like to tell me something about yourself?
Okay, right now I'm 10, but when I was 9 when I wrote this story, and I am from Tifa Primary School. I was born in China, but raised in Singapore.
Right.
So I'm very patriotic, and my favorite animals are cats. And my story is a heartwarmer, a mystery, adventure, and an animal tale all rolled into one fascinating journey.
Yes.
And I really hope readers enjoy my book.
Right, that's very good. Would you like to have a cat one day?
Yes.
Mommy? Yes, okay, so Mommy, listen to this. She wants a cat, yeah. What sort of cat do you want to have?
A tortoise shell.
Oh, okay, I don't know what that breed is, but yes, yeah. My daughter in Adelaide actually owns a, what's that one that is called? I can't remember right now, but it's a huge cat.
Okay.
A white one, yeah. A ragdoll, yes. She owns a
Okay.
ragdoll. Yes, good. All right, so let's read an excerpt from your story.
Okay, I'll read it. At last we were ready. We did as much research and prowling around as we could, and now we vaguely know where the mansion was. At night we had a full meal as we needed to walk a long way to the burnt mansion. It was a chilly night, so we gathered all our clothes to keep out the cold. However, it was to no avail. We set off in silence. It was a long and tiring walk, and we had to keep very quiet. However, Ginger's huge body once accidentally knocked over a signboard from the shop in our street. The resounding thunk echoed and bounced off the walls. We hurriedly straightened the signboard and hid behind it. A few lights flickered on in the windows of the houses. As soon as they were off again, we set off again, more hurriedly this time. After that, there were no more incidents, and that was the closest call.
Wonderful, right. To read more of this story, we hope you'll buy Tian Tian's book. Now, you can win a copy of that book. Yes, so Tian Tian, what's the question for the viewer?
How old was I when I wrote this story?
Wonderful. Yes, okay. So for viewers out there, Tian Tian's question is, how old was she when she wrote the story? She said that just now when she was talking about her book. Yeah, all right. So please just go, and answer the question on Facebook. Yeah, right. So we wait for that. Right. We wait a minute for that. Okay. And we'll announce the results at the end of this this whole session. All right. So thank you, Tian Tian. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Yes. Beautiful. So 10-year-old Tian Tian. Yes. All right. And next. Let me change this first. Next, we have Dia Menon, Picture Perfect Murder. Dia, please come on stage. Thank you, Dia. Thank you for coming today. Yes, yeah. I know you're nervous. Yeah, I'm also very nervous. Yeah. Okay, but no worries. Yeah. Okay. Don't look at me. Just look at the audience. Okay, look at your mommy. Maybe that might help you. Look at Daddy. Where's Daddy? Daddy's taking a picture. Okay. All right. That will help you seriously. Yeah. If not, take off your specs. That's what I do when I get nervous. Because then I don't see everybody. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, take it off. If you can still read it, then that's fine.
No.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay, Dia. Dia is very interesting because she wrote an adventure and mystery story. Okay, but I would leave her to tell you about it, right? But first thing I want to ask Dia is, so where do you get the inspiration for this story?
I'm a big fan of murder mysteries and detective stories and thrillers. So I think I always have some stories swirling around in my head about who died and who could have done it. It's quite dark, actually, if you think about it, but it's a lot of fun just trying to come up with a whole bunch of conspiracy theories about who might have done it and how they could have died. And I think it was just fun to put that into words.
Wonderful. Yes, and you were 13, I think, when you wrote this story.
Yes.
You're now 14. Yep. And which school are you from?
I'm from Canadian International School.
Right, okay. Right, so tell me about, you've told me about the inspiration for the story. Tell me a bit about this story.
So this story is about a detective called Tia Morceau, who, incidentally, her name rhymes with mine. And she gets this case, which it's got a lot of emotional baggage. It's a serial killer case. And the bodies are dropping very fast, and it's getting faster, and it's kind of a super fast, thrilling ride that it's my favorite kind of murder mystery, and it's what I like to read when I'm reading murder mystery thrillers.
Right. So what's the latest murder mystery thriller that you read?
I'm actually currently reading a book called You'll Be the Death of Me by Karen M. McManus.
Okay.
Yeah, she has a lot of really good murder mysteries.
Great, okay. Now, can you read an excerpt from your book?
Yes, if I can find the page. The punishment in Singapore for murder was death. Death by hanging. Tia knew because she had watched it. Watched her father's lips move as he reminded her he loved her, each word draining him of life. Now, everything made sense. The way the killer was doing this, the people he was targeting, and most importantly, the person he intended to affect the most. Tia strode confidently into her captain's office, uttering the only line she ever needed to get his attention. I have a plan.
Wonderful. That's a very, exciting thing coming. Yeah, okay. And again, right, you can win Tia's book, right, by answering her question right now, right? And so, Tia, what's your question?
So my question is, what is the title of my book?
What's the title of Dia's book, which is very evident if you are watching right now? Yes, okay. It's a great title, seriously. Picture Perfect Murder. I'm telling you the answer. All right, so quickly, get it down, all right? All right, okay. Thank you so much, Dia. Thank you so much. Great. Okay, so from murder, Picture Perfect Murder, we now come to something that is entirely different. Aliens and Angels. That's one genre. No, sorry, apologies. Okay, right. I knew something would go wrong. Okay, next. All right. It's not murder, okay, but a lot of stuff that's happening. As you can see from the cover, we have Aiden Tang with Dead of Night. Aiden. Incidentally, the only boy today. Okay. All right. Okay, great, Aiden. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, okay. So, Aiden, great. Tell me something about yourself. Anything.
I'm in secondary school.
Sec 1?
Yeah, Sec 1.
Okay, which school are you in?
Bowen.
Oh, Bowen Secondary.
Which is incidentally one of the 4 schools that has military band.
Which is incidentally one of the 4 schools that has?
Military band.
Military band. Oh, okay. So you like to be in the band. Mommy asked you to do it.
No.
Okay, you like that.
I just chose.
You chose.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the other choices, or that was the only choice that you had?
Honestly, the other choices aren't that interesting.
Okay.
Honestly.
All right. I got it. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. All right. So yes. So tell me something about your story. Your inspiration.
My inspiration is drawn heavily from like sci-fi. There's elements of sci-fi and like police cop and stuff, like police story, and like some elements of Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, all right. So you draw, I would think, you're very much influenced and much inspired by stories by Sherlock Holmes. And I think before you, Dia probably is also very interested in Sherlock Holmes stories. Agatha Christie, yeah, I love kids who read Agatha Christie, Dia.
I read Murder on the Orient Express. It's nice.
You read what?
Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, Murder of the Orient Express. Yes, that's my favorite. Yeah. Do you watch the movie?
It's very interesting.
Yes. Okay, all right. Great, Agatha Christie. Sherlock Holmes, tell me your favorite.
Reckon Back 4.
Okay, yeah, mine was the Hound of the Baskervilles. Yeah, that was something that they show over and over again. Yeah. Okay, do you watch movies on, Sherlock Holmes movies on TV or something?
Honestly, I have never seen a Sherlock Holmes movie before.
Never mind,
Honestly,
it's okay.
Never.
Yeah, they have this series that's running.
BBC, right? The BBC
yeah,
one, right?
BBC has got it very well.
I got watch the BBC one. I never watched the RDJ one. The Robert Downey Jr. one.
And never did I too. Okay, all right, great. Okay, so now, very heavily influenced by stories like that. So tell me something about your story now.
It's very...
You can read the blurb if you want to.
How do I say? It's very...
Fast-moving.
Yeah, fast-paced and like very... It's very interesting if you read the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's very exciting. Yeah. And believe me, I did read it. Okay. It's very exciting. It's something like if you... But I don't know. I mean, do you read stuff like, what is that? Frederick Forsyth. I don't know. He's my favorite author. Yes, it's yours too? Oh my God, yeah. Frederick Forsyth, he writes really well. He has not that many novels, but everyone that comes out is fantastic, yeah. Robert Ludlum, yeah, okay, I used to follow his series. So, yeah, so books like that, yeah. So his books actually are quite similar to that, yeah. Okay, all right, can you read an excerpt from your book, Aiden?
Okay.
It's mystery and adventure, yeah, lots of mystery, lots of adventure. One excerpt from it.
Wait. It is very... Wait.
All right, take your time to find it. Yeah, find me the most exciting part.
Okay. When the suspect arrived at the station, she stood there, watching Jack with stone-cold eyes. Her hair was messier than a hoarder's house, and she had the looks of a deranged person. She had to be pushed in order to get her into the interrogation room.
Wonderful. Okay, so I want to read more. Yes, what is she? She's pushed into the interrogation room, right? So what's she going to do next? Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is Aiden, and Aiden has a question for our viewer.
What is the name of my main character? It was mentioned in the excerpt that I read.
It was mentioned in the excerpt that he read.
It was also the only name in the excerpt that I read.
It is also the only name in the excerpt that he read. All right. Okay. If you didn't follow it, all right. Well, I think you could actually run it off again. Okay. So please answer the question. All right. And thank you so much, Aiden. Thank you very much. Okay. So give me some time. I got to replace this now with EC. Yes. I was speaking about EC story. EC with Beyond the World. EC, welcome. Right, okay. So EC is very interesting because she is, Aliens and Angels is not something that a lot of, it's not a genre that a lot of my young authors actually do. It's becoming more popular these days with my young authors. There are 7 genres they write, they can explore. We have mystery and adventure, we have magic and fantasy, we have heartwarmers, we have Asian tales, which is what, well, quite a few are being asked to write because we're all in Asia, so we should write about Asia. We have, what's the other one? Animal Tales, okay, which Tian Tian actually did. And the last one, which is Aliens and Angels, is something that EC pursued. All right, and I mentored her with the book, but she writes really well, okay, and I think a lot is research, and she reads a lot of sci-fi books. Aliens and Angels, incidentally, is sci-fi, okay, it's just that for kids, I call it Aliens and Angels, yeah? Okay, so EC, welcome. Yes, all right. So tell me the inspiration behind your book.
Okay, it's still about sci-fi, but I actually want to correct something that you just said because the fact is that I don't really read a lot of books. Especially when I was younger, I hate reading books.
Well.
So actually, the sci-fi that I read, which actually inspired me a lot when I wrote this book, is The Three-Body Problem by Liu Cixin. And that is actually a series of books very special to me because before that I didn't like to read books, and that is actually sci-fi. Right. So
okay, yeah. So that is the book that inspired you to write this?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, because EC has written something about it here.
I mentioned it.
Yeah,
here.
You mentioned it. Can I read about
sure.
the author? I was 13 when I wrote this book. I like math and science, and love asking myself questions like, what is consciousness? She's mature beyond her age. Are there parallel universes? Okay, and so this is the book that she mentioned, The Three-Body Problem by Liu Cixin, is that how you pronounce? Is my favorite book, and my love of philosophy provided me inspiration to write this story. This is my first time trying to write a novel, and it is a breakthrough for me. Okay, so this is what EC wrote about the author at the back of her book. Okay, so yes, so tell me something about the book. It sounds so exciting. The Three-Body Problem.
It is very complicated, and it is very, very hard to summarize what is like one message or one thing that the book wants to tell you. Actually, the author...
Maybe tell me what you took from the book. What was the thing that you took from the book? As
basically, it's the idea that highly civilized civilizations might not be as ethical as you think. This is the idea.
I agree. Yes, so that's the message you took.
Yes.
And so tell me now about Beyond the World.
This book is actually, other than the inspiration that I got from the three-body problem, it also has one thing, which is friendship, something that I really value, I guess. Yeah, so I included it in the story a lot. And basically, it's about a human girl and a robot from another universe, I say. And yeah, I cannot review more.
Yes, don't reveal more. Yes, okay. So yes, she talks about experiences. She talks about this mutual friendship between the human and the robot. And I think that's all the more why you should read her book, okay? Because now we are into AI, we're into so many things, you know, and do robots have feelings? Right, that's a question that is asked, yeah? Very much explored by everybody here. Sometimes we think about it, sometimes we don't, but we can't ignore that, yeah? So do robots have feelings? Yeah, great. So if you could read an excerpt from your book.
I'll just read the first part because, yeah, the same thing. I don't want to review too
Yes,
much.
don't review so much.
Sorry, okay, it's here, okay. I was doing my homework when a silver stone about the size of a basketball abruptly appeared outside my house. I could see it from the window before my desk. When it got nearer, I realized that it was not silverish, but reflective, like a mirror. In fact, it looked like a ball as it was overall round, but its surface was uneven with some shapes and patterns protruding out, so I would just call it a stone. My eyes followed it as it flew into my house through the open window. While according to our common sense, when coming across something supernatural and eerie like the one going on before my eyes right then, one is expected to be surprised, startled, shocked, stunned, or even scared, but the only thing that surprised me was the fact that I was calm, extremely calm.
Cool. Wow, extremely calm. It's like the calm before the storm. Yeah, thank you so much, Easy. And I need you to ask a question of our viewer.
I'll just ask the easiest question possible, which is, what is the title of my book?
What's the title of Easy's book? Okay, take a moment to look at the table, you know. Yeah, if you haven't, no. Okay, all right.
It's on the screen.
Yeah, Clue, Aliens and Angels, you know, sci-fi, yeah, okay, all right. And it's a lovely cover, actually. It's a lovely illustration. You actually
Thank you.
Well, it's up to you to imagine what it is, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Easy.
you.
Thank you. Great. Right, and so last but not least, I have Avishee Gurnani. Avishee, please. Welcome, Avishee. You are the last of the five, okay? And it means that basically I got more questions for you. Okay, all right, so let's start with the title of your book, Ties of Hope. All right, where do you get inspiration for this story?
I basically got inspiration from this story from my grandmother when she first shared about sati with me. So sati is this cruel practice which used to happen in India, and it's when a woman throws herself onto her husband's funeral pyre because she's considered to be so-called unlucky. So I felt really, really angry and really, really sad that this kind of thing used to happen, and I was really adamant that people should learn about it. Even though it doesn't happen anymore, it's still relevant because people who are widowed, even today, they still have this social stigma, and it may not be in the form of throwing oneself onto the husband's funeral pyre, but it's still very, very sad to see this happening.
Yes, yeah, I do agree with you. And I like to share that when I was mentoring Avishee for this book, she mentioned something about sati. You know, she had just this idea about sati, and then that's how the story progressed. But Avishee did a lot of research, yeah, because her story needs research. Yeah, it's about something that happened in the 1900s. Yeah, in the 1900s. And one thing I've got to credit Avishee for is she is very diligent, and when she does something, you know, and when something is given to her, she quickly does it and gives me more. Okay, so that's what I want to
Thank
credit
you.
her for. Yes. And so this thing about sati, she went on to research. And tell me something more about this sati thingy.
So it used to happen a lot in ancient India, and my story basically happens in the 1800s. And it was banned eventually because it used to happen so much, and so many women were forced to sacrifice themselves then. And then also, women were wed at a very young age, and the wedding, you would have to be wed by the age of 16. And that's why many women, their husbands also died very early because they were alcoholics or they smoked, or these kind of processes were really rampant. And that's why many women lost their lives at really young age, which is what my book aims to show.
Okay, so tell me something about your book then.
My book is about two girls, Myra and Priya. Myra is sold to the rich Rathore household as a servant, and Priya is sold as a wife. And they meet, and after a while, Priya is wed to a really lunatic man. And this book also aims to show how then having mental health issues or even child marriage, my book aims to show that these practices are really bad and they don't happen anymore, but it's important that we know about them so they don't happen again.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes, okay. And one thing you need to know about Avishee, that's the reason why I put her last again, is that one thing I'm very, what is the word for it? I just can't think of the right word, but Avishee writes letters to the forum. Yeah, and I was like, wow, okay. Note, Avishee is 12 this year, right? You just passed your birthday, and belated birthday greetings. I think it was on
Thank
March
you.
10? Was it March 10? Yes, okay. So a 12-year-old girl, when she started writing was 11, right? Letters to the Straits Times, the forum. Yeah, okay. And that's one thing that I feel all young people, should be starting to do. Think about issues. Of course, not sati, but things that happen in your life. Yeah, because you are the generation that we are building. Okay, what I hope to do is to build the next generation of thinkers and writers. So before you write, you have to think, yeah? And so, which is what I think all of my young authors who wrote actually started to think and do research. That's very crucial in a story. It could be fiction, but you have to research on your story if you want to write something historical, yeah? Okay, all right. Now, could you read an excerpt from your story, Avishee?
Yes. I was about to pick up the tray and leave when I heard the word sati. I knew what sati meant, the horrible, gruesome act of a wife burning herself with her husband's funeral pyre. This evoked emotions of anger and repulsion in me. I had heard from Ma about sati, but I did not understand. How could a living person be burnt alive? Horrified yet intrigued, I slowly walked to the other end of the table, pretending to clean it. The Mem Sahib said that she was sure her son's death was a sign from the gods that his wife should live no more, and that sati was the right thing to do. However, the Sahib said that Priya was only 14 years old, still very young, and almost pleaded that it had only been a few months since the marriage.
Great, that was a very good one. Okay, so what's next for you, Avishee?
I'm writing a mystery series currently, and it's based in Singapore, and it features two people, Iris Griffins and Priya Gupta, and they just go around Singapore and they have this thirst for mysteries and adventure and just going out to find something to do. So my first story is based in Adbara, which is a place in Botanical Gardens, which a very rich heritage because it's basically a place where there was a French embassy, and even the British ambassador to Singapore, if I'm not wrong, used to live there. So it has a very rich history, which I wanted to showcase.
Great, right. And for viewers and for everyone here, Avishee is doing a series, which she just spoke about. The first one is The Mystery of the Akik Adbara. The second one, which is going to come as well, is Mystery of the... Yeah, and if you realize, there's alliteration, right? A, B, B. So there could be C, C, D, D, yeah? All right, cool. Right, so look out for that. I think the Atbara will be hitting the bookstores probably towards the second half of the year, right? And there will be more coming, right? Now, your question, Avicii, for your viewer.
How old was I when I wrote this book?
Was it mentioned? Did you mention that? Yes. You did, okay. So how sorry? You mentioned. I mentioned. Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, so I mentioned it. So if you had listened, yeah, how old was Avicii when she wrote this book that is called Ties of Hope? Right? Okay. All right, so thank you so much, Avicii. Right, thank you. Okay, so all five have been, we have spoken to all five of our young authors. I'm not looking at Facebook. I don't know if there are any questions. Is anybody looking at Facebook for me? No? Yes? Are there any questions? No, huh? Okay. All right. But anyway, yes, thank you everybody for watching and our audience here. And we hope that you get a copy of the book. It's available on our e-store and also available other places which we'll announce later. Yeah? Okay, so thank you everybody for watching and have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.